Thanks all of you, webinar. Our today's topic is homeopathy and mental health. Now actually I am putting a question to the participants regarding mind. The question, who is your enemy number one in your life? So first question of the day is, who is your enemy number one in your life? The answer is you, yourself. Because you have not control over your mind, over your inner self. Considering this perspective, we are entering today's seminar. In New Testament, Jesus Christ said, "The kingdom of God does not come from observation. Lo, it is here. Lo, it is there. For the kingdom of God, it is within you." The famous poet, English poet John Milton said, "The mind is its own place and in itself can make heaven of hell and hell of heaven." In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 6, in verse number 6, I am not telling the Sanskrit part, just I am sharing you the English translation of that verse. For those who have conquered the mind, it is their friend. For those who have conquered their mind, it is their friend. For those who have failed to do so, who have failed to conquer, the mind works like an enemy. So, who is our enemy? Ourselves. Whenever we are failing to conquer ourselves, then we become our own enemy. If we consider the definition of health from World Health Organization, they narrate in a specific manner a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Generally we are considering absence of disease is health, but World Health Organization beautifully defined health has to be three components: physical health, mental health and social well-being. In this perspective, today we will discuss homeopathy and mental health. Now I am sharing the idea of health from homeopathic perspective. Our master Samuel Hahnemann, about 200 years ago, defined health in that manner. In the healthy condition of man, the spiritual vital force, the dynamis that animates the material body, rules with unbounded sway and retains all the parts of the organism in admirable, harmonious vital operation as regards both sensation and function, so that our indwelling reason gifted mind can freely employ this living healthy instrument for the higher purposes of our existence. In this perspective, I am taking the privilege to share the quotation from Julian Huxley, a famous biologist of states. He said, "Quality of your life, not quantity, becomes a great criteria of evolution. Can you live at peace with yourself?" First question. Can you live at peace with yourself? Can you live with your family with peace? Can you live at peace with your friends, with your neighbors? So, goal of human evolution is fulfillment. What our master said, the healthy instrument for the higher purposes of our existence. Actually, in the definition of Hahnemann regarding health, he emphasized the harmonious vital operation in between body and mind. So know the self as the master within the chariot. The Katha Upanishad employs the imagery of chariot. Actually, I am telling about quality of life and concluded in the last line, goal of human evolution is fulfillment. In relation with Hahnemann's definition, our living health instrument for the higher purposes of our existence. Actually, in the definition of health, Hahnemann make a relation in between body and mind, and it should be a harmonious vital operation. If we consider our body as a chariot, what you are seeing in the picture, in the chariot, if we consider this is our body, in the center of the chariot is the cell, and total chariot is the body. Now the buddhi is the charioteer, and the manas, the mind, is the reins of the horses, or all the horses is the sense organs. Whenever our sense organs goes forward in stimulation, getting stimulation from objects, without the control of the reins of the horses, that is mind, our sense organ will go anywhere. But when our sense organ is being attached with our mind, with the reins, but being detached with our buddhi, that is intelligence, our mind may accompany with our sense organs and make a havoc and massacre. But when our intelligence, buddhi, and the reins of the horses, that is the mind, making beautifully harmony and synchronize in between mind, buddhi and sense organs, then only this chariot can move. Whenever is there any breakage from buddhi to mind or mind to sense organs, if there may happen any breakage, then the body will fall down. Likewise, our body, human body, is not a physical thing. Always it is body and mind going together, and body and mind making a harmonious relationship to go the higher purpose of our existence. Actually, Hahnemann's view on mental health. Regarding mental health, Hahnemann classified it in three parts. So, till 1980, the psychology subject they relates mostly on the abnormal psychology and developments of psychological facts and figures. After 1980s, few scientists in America and Japan, they conducted some work on positive psychology. But about 200 years ago, Hahnemann uttered very clearly about positive psychology. What is that part? He said, when body and mind work together in harmony, admirable harmonious condition, then only we can fulfill our higher purpose of the existence. So to fulfill higher purpose of our existence, it is in relation with positive psychology. Another part is abnormal psychology, that is in relation to all psychiatric problems. And the last thing is mental generals. It is another thing, not actually well acquainted with the person of psychology or psychiatry. Mental generals is a typical term. We homeopaths do know the thing. Whenever we are taking the case, we are asking the patient whether you are likes company or not, are you having any fear of any objects. Many things they are detailing, and all the points we are taking in favor of our prescription. But those points, those who are narrating by the patient, actually those points are not classified under the abnormal psychology, not under positive psychology. That is, from prescription point of view, we are asking the patient, that is mental generals. Now I am telling few general points of human psychology. There are three attributes of the general attributes of human being. First attribute is mode of goodness. In Sanskrit it is called Sattva Guna. Desire for peace of mind. Desire for cultivation of knowledge. Desire for compassion for service. Actually, what actually we got today from Dr. Arijit Karmakar, having a mood of goodness, he desired for cultivation of knowledge and compassion for service. The second is mode of passion, in Sanskrit Rajoguna. Desire for the object of sense, attainment of worldly objects, achievement, ambition for post, especially in corporate sector to make credential. Everything is coming from the attributes of mode of passion. The last is the mode of ignorance, tamogun, desire for violence, desire for confrontation, anger, indolence, etc. are the attributes, the tamoguna. So the natural disposition is everyone having natural disposition of his mind characterized by three modes, singly or jointly. Our goal is to eliminate lower desire, to enhance, to develop higher desire, sublime, elevate the life. If you would given a choice, you would rather have burning passion of knowledge than to urge for an ice cream. It is human nature. Now I am inserting another slide. How we become sick in our mental level. Cause of all sickness is desire and its consequences. This is desire. If it fulfilled, then come back with redoubled intensity and grade. When the desire is fulfilled naturally, come back with redoubled intensity and greed. Ultimately, it may go to unfulfilled stage. In some people, desire is not fulfilled from the very beginning. If it be unfulfilled, then it turns into anger and frustration. In that manner, from anger and frustration, the basic instinct in our mental level develops different types of mental and physical diseases. Now, in a nutshell, actually I am going through a few slides advocated by Niemans for mental state examination. Actually, why I am inserting those slides, what is the parameters we should know to know the mental state regarding particulars. Then they are asking about complaints, history of present illness, onset, past history, family history. Whatever they are asking now in Niemans, Hahnemann advocated all those things about 200 years ago. That is why I am sharing all those things. So MSc in mental state examination, the important part is cognition. Cognition relates consciousness, orientation, concentration, calculation, memory, intelligence, insight, acknowledge and consequences. Now I am putting a picture. You are seeing a picture. Hope all of you are seeing a picture in the slide. Then what will be the impression, first impression in your mind, and how our mind and intellect work together to come conclusion, let us see. Whenever this type of picture we are getting, not in picture, in reality, what reaction comes in our mind? A large animate object is quickly approaching to me. Then Buddhi decides, the large animate is a bull. It is angry. It wants to attack someone. In first stage, our mind only recognizes the large animate object is quickly approaching to us. Then Buddhi determines that's a bull. It is angry. It wants to attack someone. Then our self, Ahankar, screams, it wants to attack me. It is I who see this bull. It is I who am frightened. It is I who am about to run away. In the last stage, we ourselves attached to the sequence. Now I know that this is bull, which is not I. It is dangerous. There are others who do not know this. It is my own personal knowledge which will cause me to avoid this bull in future. Likewise, in every aspect, whenever we are getting stimulation to our sense objects, mind, intellect and Ahankar, self, work together in a very harmonious way. And ultimately, we are concluding and get perception about anything. Whenever any disharmony takes place in between the link, then mental trouble develops. Now I am telling quote unquote from Hahnemann, what is mental generals? Hahnemann said, we shall therefore never be able to cure comfortably to nature, that is to say homeopathically, if we do not, in every case of disease, even such as are acute, observe along with the other symptom, those relating to the changes in the state of mind and disposition. Actually, we homeopath considers from our master's instruction, patient may suffer from acute disease, patient may suffer from chronic disease. But in every case, with bodily discomfort, with the bodily disfigurement, everyone having some mental modification. You all know. Even if you are getting a common cold, you became irritable, someone became very much timid, someone become very much drowsy, like that. So in every sequence, it may be acute stage or chronic stage, with the physical trouble, we are having some mental modification. And if we do not select for the patient's relief, for among the medicine, a disease force, which in addition to the similarity of other symptoms to those of the disease is also capable of producing a similar state of the disposition in the mind. Actually, in homeopathy, we following the law of similia. We are using medicine having capacity to develop symptoms in human economy, in healthy condition, both in body and mind, few symptoms. And whenever any patient is suffering with those symptoms in physical level and in mind, and is very similar to that medicine, that would be the remedy for that particular patient. So in case taking, when we were taking the case, we were considering mental symptom, not mental abnormalities, mental symptoms. It would not be considered the domain of psychiatry or abnormal psychology, that is mental generals. Then we are going to proper abnormal psychology, mental disease.